Greetings everyone, it's your favorite trash raccoon ranked warrior here for another video on why you should delete Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, you might as well because Favela actually got reworked and my prediction was wrong about what they would do with it. So, I decided that being that I'm the absolute ranked demon that I am, I should make a strat video on each side of Favela. I spent easily over an hour on the strats alone, and I think my last brain cell is also alone because his other friends killed themselves after making a strat for coin farm and storage. I think easily the two worst sites, without debate, are the bottom two, but I swear to God that whole damn floor is breakable. I feel like it's easy to say that the easiest two sites are upstairs, but I really don't know which one's best, but I think that coin farm and storage is a small advantage over coin farm and bunks. Overall, you're going to notice a lot of similarities between both side setups, but storage and coin is a little bit better. The standard push, from what I've seen in the first week or so of ranked, is a bunk push with a little bit of a push from red steps in order to push. And then in order to circumvent this, we kind of need to just build a defense around that. Starting off with the bunks push, you can place them behind the bunks itself and play it very similarly to red bunk on Oregon. You can also play that TV desk and peek the PC window in bunks. And overall, this is a very strong spot as you can generally play it very comfortably, and if you stand on that table, you also get an angle onto that hallway where scaffold stairs is. And the question really comes to, how do you hold a cross on that bunk's doorway? And the answer to this is playing from radio with foothold on the left wall. Now you can hold an aggressive angle from TV onto the bunk's door, or contest from behind big bunk and have someone play hacker, or radio, whatever you prefer to call it, and deny from behind the desk. Now here's where things really get fun. You can have someone play coin stacks, and now he can hop in on the crossfire as well, from the default rotate, and also the vault rotate. Now, you have a three-way cross on that bunk's door, and you're just going to be able to dominate that one person trying to enter. And you'll notice that I haven't really talked about what we're doing with Red Hall or storage side, and that is mostly because we need to look at the operators. We're going to be playing someone on the shield facing toward Red Hall and having a shotgun, because that's always nice, and no operator is really better than that than smoking Tachanka. There should also be a Jaeger, because that shield needs protection, so 2 ADSs should go dedicated behind that red stairs shield, and those under the staircase as well, and then the final ADS should go by TV as to protect the bunk player from utility. The Jaeger's probably play inside our radio to play the foot angles onto bunks, and in regard to what to do for storage and shoot side, it's relatively simple. We're going to play mute on the second floor shoot steps plateau. And you'll be able to notice just from looking at it that it's very similar to yellow steps on consulate. And as a result, you can play it relatively similar. Your shotgun is going to be filthy in close range, and you can also use the SMG-11 here to play super aggressive. There are only 3 places where you can actually be killed from: patio window, overhang, and if someone swings you directly. Starting off with what is likely your greatest threat, overhang. Someone can easily enter the overhang from one of 2 ways. First way is pretty straightforward. They push right in, and they walk right through the doorway. Option 2 is they repellent, which is very loud. It will make it very clear that they're trying to push you out, and at that point you bail. Overhang is always deadly, but there's a way to play without being killed. If you play this spot on the staircase, you can sit right here a little bit longer and potentially get a pick or another drone, and either is great for your team, especially on a map like Oregon where not many people know where the basic pre-fires are. Likely, you won't get much of a push from overhang, and if you do, it's relatively easy to avoid. So, let's look at your next biggest threat. If someone's playing your patio window, you can mess around as much as you like to see if someone's going to try and peek you from there and where you can move at, but just be aware of this window, but don't feel afraid to play it like blue stairs on bank. In case you don't know what that is, of course, let me demonstrate. Usually, you should play probably at the midpoint of the swing. That way it is an awkward kill if they get it, because most people usually play the angle on one side or the other, so the midpoint is kind of that perfect balance to get people off guard. And now that you know where to play and how to play it, you can easily contest the guy waiting to swing you. If you have no patio pressure, you can swing and waste time as you see fit, but just don't get over aggressive because this angle isn't life or death. Also, you can only jump down the trash chute hatch when you rotate down and confuse the enemy team or hell, even flank. This map is great all around, and abuse that. Mute jammers should always go up on that hacker and armory wall for wall denial, and what you do with your last 2 jammers is relatively based on how they push, but I would say generally speaking, put one on bottom red to deny floors drones as it reaches the distance. And as for the last one, I'd recommend putting behind big bunk itself to deny drones, so there will always be a worry of a TV player. As for the TV player himself, personally I think it's best that Mozzie plays that, as he has a 1.5 to contest that long angle, and he also brings that Roni, which is deadly in CQB. And on top of that, he's a nitro cell to toss right over. And the last player, the one in coin, should likely be a Legion or a Melusi, whatever your stack prefers. And if it's a Melusi, I'd probably put it on Scaffold Stairs, Red Hallway, and Shoot Stairs. Now, here's what your final blueprint should look like. Let's recap everything we've done so far. Smoke is playing a shield in Red Hall to deny Red Wall from being opened and deny the hallway and the inevitable bunks push. Jaeger, Mozzie, Legion, or Melusi, whichever one you prefer, are playing across onto the bunks angle with the goal of holding it down for as long as it can. That way that coin form is less likely to get a plant down. And a storage side plant should almost always favor the defense, even with the wall open. Mozzie and Mute will always have a cross on that shoot to some extent, and Mute will be able to bail and rip around basically anywhere on the map. Now, for the second site, which is basically the same, there is only a few principles which change. One is that the red shield only gets 1 ADS as opposed to 2, and the TV player gets 2 ADSs. Another concept that changes is that Mute is going to rotate way faster as he doesn't need to hold it as long. He can basically just bail after 45 seconds to a minute 15. There really isn't a need to fight that angle. From there, he really has 2 options, which is flank Scaffold Stairs or fall back to storage, and to add an extra gun to the fighting on bunks, as you have to worry about that PC window now as well. I think it might even be worth swapping the Legion for OMI here, that way you can prevent needing that TV player, as he is so important in that position. But beyond that, they are basically the exact same site hold. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you learned something, and I'll make another video on this soon. Have a great night.